morning, everybody. What's going on? This is a project that I'm working on out here. As you can see, it's a little rain cloudy looking there. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, or tonight actually. So trying to get a good bit knocked out. I'm here with the Trackhoe, my Deere 200. Surely you've seen the video of it. I had a little alarm going with it, got it figured out. So hoping I can run and just really put it to work. I haven't got to just run it a ton yet, but I got something kind of planned here. So this farm is a new farm that I've picked up. I actually picked it up last year. You can see there's beans right here. I came in and planted probably about 15 acres total of this place, but there was little thorn trees and stuff all out in here. I'll show you. The deer have been in here like freaking cows. But see, like that right there, that's a pretty vicious thorn tree, and they're all around. There's several there. And after I got in here and planted it, whole time planting it, I was like, man, this is a bad idea to try to put the combine through this. So I just didn't come back and cut these. I didn't fertilize it, just put them in here. I really didn't expect them to do anything, and they actually did really well, which speaks highly of putting pastures into row crop ground, which I know my cattle guys, sorry my cousin Bobby Lee, but pasture ground can sometimes turn into pretty darn good row crop ground. And this right here, oh, there's you some fresh deer crap right there. But I didn't come back in here and cut it because I would have torn up some knives on the header. It would have just been hell on the combine. So I did not come back in here. But it's probably around 80 acres on this place that I could work. So my plan right now, if you guys can see this there's a row of trees right here, and none of them are any good. They're all junk trees. I'm gonna take out that whole thing because it goes up on that hill, it goes over there. The objective over the span of this winter is going to be to get all of this in good row crop condition, which means getting rid of a lot of these random tree lines, and open it up where, you know, you get in here with a 40-foot planter. I can just plant all one big area, and there's a big area over there. It's a pretty substantial amount of Trackhoe work. It's actually the whole reason I bought that Trackhoe, was for all this. This is just one part of probably 300 acres that I picked up, but I got to do a lot of dozer and Trackhoe work on them. So that's the objective right now, is to get this place in working order, get it ready to go. And guys, first off, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you for tuning into the video. Please hit that like button, hit subscribe. And there's a little bell. I've never told you guys to click the little bell, but there is a little bell over there. If you click it, it will actually notify you when I upload a new video. And that's good for me, and it's good for you, hopefully. Hopefully you enjoy these videos. But I'm gonna hop on the Trackhoe here, start working on these tree lines. This Trackhoe, I got to get used to this thing. It's a lot smoother than my Volvo that I have. My Volvo's a 330. This is a 200. So this is about a 50,000 pound machine, whereas my Volvo is about an 85,000 pound machine. This is a pretty common size for our area. 50,000 pounds. You can move them around. You can still do most anything. I mean, that's, for a lot of people, that's a big Trackhoe, but my Volvo is an absolute monster, and it's too big. I can't even move it around, which is why I bought this one. But it's taken me some getting used to on this one, because like these trees right here, for instance, I mean, that Volvo, you could just rip them out of the ground, and it's got about 100 more horsepower than this Deere. It's just an absolute destroyer. And this one here is capable, but you got to have a little more finesse about it. So I'm having to learn how to be more finesse, and you got to kind of push trees over and move them around and break the roots up. It's not just that rip it out of the ground kind of thing. So that's taken me a little getting used to. But I feel like after today, with what I got on the agenda right here, we'll be pretty good and used to it by now, by then. But I hope the Trackhoe will do well. Again, I haven't gotten to run it probably more than about an hour at a time. I don't know when the rain, I think it's supposed to start this afternoon or tonight. I'm hoping it'll wait till tonight and at least let me get this tree line out of the way. And yeah, guys, I'm excited. These are always really, it's cool to me getting these kind of projects to put back into farming. Like this, they used to have cattle on this. They got out of the cattle and they wanted in row crop. And pasture ground where cattle were usually does really well. Now, the problem with this again is the thorn trees, and I'll kind of explain a little bit of what my plans are with it. So these thorn trees, they're really difficult to deal with. There's some little small cypress trees that are coming up, or saplings, not cypress, sapling trees all out in there. And I'm kind of thinking I'm gonna come in here and probably clip it and then come in with a disc. This is one of the instances where you do have to do some tillage. If the little trees were not in here, I would probably try to plant it without doing any tillage. I've done some other pasture ground like that, but in this instance, I don't think I'm gonna be able to, because I'm gonna have to try to tear up and get rid of those trees, because I just can't plant into that. So thinking about disking it, sorry, but hey, look, I am a no-till guy. If you followed me for very long, you know, I mean, last year I was 100% no-till. I did zero tillage whatsoever. It is only on an if I have to absolutely do it basis, and this is one of those bases where I'm gonna have to do some tillage. But once it's established and set, no more tillage. So I'm excited to get it going. I got a funny thing that I meant to add in there. I just got to throw something out here. All right, guys. So I'm sitting in the Trackhoe here. There is a little. I've got my liquid death. Y'all know I like to drink it. This one's called Bury It Alive. I also really enjoy it, but I don't have like a hydraulic bucket in the Trackhoe with me here. I don't have anything, like, I guess if some oil started coming out, I could try to bust the lid out of this and hold it under there. But I say that to say, sometimes the internet comments are too funny. So I put up that short the other day of my Volvo with both of the lift cylinders leaking really bad. And I had somebody comment on there and say, great job catching the leak. Like catching the oil that it's leaking. Which is just comical, because they're offended that the oil is coming out of the machine getting on the ground. And I get the like environmental thing, but here's the deal. I was in the Trackhoe running, and I was away from the service truck, probably about 300 yards away from my service truck, in around nothing, and I'm running. The Trackhoe had been fine the whole time I was operating it. And I just so happened, when I picked up the, raised it up, the bucket, I just happened to look and I saw both of them had streams coming out. So I had just seen it. So I get out, and while I'm looking at it, that's when I videoed it. Drove it immediately to the truck, parked it, and it is there until I get the lifts repaired, the lift cylinders repaired. They're gonna have new seal kits put in them. But it's hilarious. This guy was saying, great job catching the oil that's you're leaking. What do you think I'm gonna catch you with? Like, that's my question. I just had seen the leak, saw it. I don't have a bucket in the Trackhoe, even in that other Trackhoe. We don't have stuff in here to catch it. Genius. So we were making pretty good progress. I had already opened up a pretty good area right here. I'm gonna create just several small piles as I go, and I'll bring the bulldozer out here after I get the piles created, and then we'll push them over to the field edge. But was doing pretty good, and you'll notice the Trackhoe is sitting still. It's not moving, it ain't operating. Well, I got reminded that I am a farmer, and stuff breaks down all the time for farmers. It's like getting no fuel. So this machine, it has not been serviced, which again, I ain't hardly run the thing, but I'm headed to get some fuel filters. I just talked to them here in my local store, and they got the fuel filters that I need. That's always the starting point is fuel filters on them, because it's the easiest thing to try out. This had actually thrown an alarm the other day, and it had a lot of water in the fuel, so I'm hoping that this will be solve the problem, that it's just got some dirty fuel filters. So I'm headed to get those and to get them changed. And fuel filters they can make a machine do odd things, but hope I can get over there to it with the service truck. You can kind of see I'm walking. This is the edge. I got stuck yesterday trying to drive over to actually where the Trackhoe is right now, and I had to hook the Trackhoe up to it and pull the service truck out. So yeah, but there's all the little, you can see the little saplings, them little trees. It gets really thick right up here. There is a whole patch of them, and I sprayed them with a really hot dose of some stuff last year, hoping that it would knock them in the head. It burned off some of the leaves, but it did not kill the trees. You can see the evidence from the crime scene right here. Just sunk down in there, just enough to slick the tires over. But we're gonna have to try to come that way, so I'm gonna come back this way, but once I get right over there, it's good. I'm just gonna have to do like my grandfather used to. They said he would throw everything off a truck just about bouncing across mud holes, because he just didn't dilly-dally around. Well, I ain't gonna dilly-dally. All right, we made it through there. I just hammered down. You can actually, that actually did spin a little bit. I got on it pretty hard there. I wasn't taking no chances. Heard some stuff kind of bounce. I see my board kind of came up here and almost lost some trash. All right, I got my two filters. I'm gonna actually replace both of these. This is the fuel filter, that's the fuel water separator. And this is what was actually causing the alarm. It had a lot of water in it. So I'm hoping that filter is just really dirty, and slapping a new one on there will solve the problem. But I guess time will tell. It's kind of a nasty job, just get fuel everywhere. And when you get fuel on you, you smell like fuel all day. So I will still smell like fuel all day, but I'm gonna pull that filter and see what happens. Pretty funky looking in there. Looks like a lot of rust and stuff in there. Yeah, it's a lot of junk inside there. So it's a really weird fuel filter, like presses up in there and kind of locks on, but it is really nasty. So I'm gonna say that's a good chance that could be the culprit. This is the one that goes on here. See if we can figure this out. And this little ring is to come up here. Gotta put this thing back on here. Cleaned it up and got the rust and all that out of there. The O-ring back in it. Well, the frustration continues. I'm sitting here, I've bled both of these, tried to crank it. I've been looking, there has to be a lever or a button to push to prime these filters, but I could not find any, so I pre-filled that filter and have still not had any luck getting this son of a gun to crank. So I even consulted the Google and the YouTube, and neither could show me where the dadgum prime lever or button is on this thing. So maybe someone will watch this video, because I'm waiting on the guys to call me back. When all else fails, call for help. So I called the deer, like the construction deer place, and they're supposed to call me back with the tech that's gonna tell me what the heck I need to do. I'm not going crazy. There is a pump. I just got off the phone with him. There's a little lever, and of course it's up in the engine bay, right up in there. You won't be able to see it, but I got to reach up in there. So the lever, I'm gonna pump it up. I'm gonna undo the little bleeder caps right here. You see these are the bleeder caps. I'm gonna kind of undo them where a little fuel can come out on both sides. If this doesn't fix it, then it's gonna be something probably beyond my scope, because we're gonna be getting into probably electrical things like that that's causing the thing to quit. So fingers crossed that this will fix the problem. It up till it quit pumping. That's what I was afraid of. I think it just ran what I pumped up. I bet I go in there and pump it up and it'll shut back off. That was my kind of my fear, because it had gotten where it wasn't pumping hard at all anymore. I guarantee you that's what it did. So it's like it's not getting fuel. Guys, if you listen, you hear a wonderful sound. The old deer, she's purring like a kitten over here. I've had her running wide open for probably about 10 minutes now. Cranked it up. I ended up pumping a little more fuel in there, and I guess it had just a little bit extra air in the lines, and she's going. So I'm hoping now we can get back to work. I guess the true test will be when I put it in a bind and it has to really drink some fuel. But I'm about to hop in here and try to do what I was hoping to pretty much already be done by. I probably would have been done by now with this and been working on other parts, but hey, I learned a thing about my Trackhoe, figured out where the fuel pump is. All right, so it just about got a little froggy over here. So got everything running and changed the fuel filters, got it primed up as you guys saw. Thought it was going good. It ran for, I don't know, probably 30 minutes or longer, and shortly thereafter it quit. It decided to quit on me. Well, check that out. It quit on me, and I can't get it to crank back up. It's doing like it did. I noticed there is a lot of rust in the look like the fuel, so I don't know if maybe the fuel system is just really funky. But I am undoing the battery cables right now, because I thought we were about to have, thought I was dang near about to be making an insurance claim. I saw smoke rolling up from the starter, and it didn't want to shut off. The starter kept like making a racket even after I turned the keys off, which is a little unnerving. So I'm gonna just eliminate the power right here so that I'll feel a little bit better about the machine. Sitting here, I've called, they're gonna send a technician out here, because I don't know what the crap to do at this point. I'm scratching my head on it, and I'm annoyed, I'm irritated, I'm just annoyed. So I haven't seen any more smoke rolling up out of there. Luckily, I carry water around to drink. I dumped all it up on there. Naturally, the camera is never rolling, so y'all did not, which it wasn't nothing exciting to see. It was just, you saw a lot of smoke. I was waiting to see some freaking flames coming up out of there, and I'm very annoyed. You spend what I consider a pretty good chunk of change on something, and it's been just constant. I've been constantly battling this thing. I have not gotten to run it very much at all. I had the alarm. I think A large part of this thing, I think the fuel tank is really, really dirty. Seems like it might have a lot of rust in the fuel tank. But like, look at it. I hate that. It's just parked. The freaking boom is up in there. What a dumb way to park. But it went dead. I can't get it to crank. Tried putting it on the truck. Hope the truck will crank because I put booster cables on it. Now a battery thing has popped up on that truck. I swear, the song, can't play it for copyright, but raindrops keep falling on my head. That is what today has been like. All right, service battery charging system. I don't even know what the crap's done happened to this truck. My alternator's probably done burned up in it. Oh man, I swear, I'm telling you guys, this has just not been a great one today. Well, I made it back and I did the poor man's code clearer. As you can see, there is no more battery code on the truck. I was frustrated. It's like, man, how's this code gonna freaking pop up on the truck? I'm already having issues with the Trackhoe. Last thing I want to have is trouble with my freaking truck. So I got back here and I pulled the negative cable off of both batteries. So, I mean, essentially just disconnected the batteries from the truck. I went and fed the cows. It was about 5 minutes. Came back, put the battery terminals back on, cranked her up. She's good to go. I'm sure it just made the computer act a little crazy with those others on there. And I don't know, you know, it could be a bad battery on the Trackhoe that's causing issues. A lot of times electrical stuff can be a nightmare like that. I've had some batteries that have given me trouble, and it was causing this thing to do crazy stuff. Actually, I think it was on this service truck. It was like even shifting weird. The thing was going nuts. So the batteries can do a lot. I wasn't going to change the batteries because it actually, the stickers on the batteries say 1022, which is, I mean, they should be just a few months old, but they look really old. So I don't know. I can't imagine somebody would just swap the stickers out. Maybe they did. You spend the money on a Trackhoe, and I have run the thing probably the equivalent of 3 hours because I've been constantly having trouble out of it. Maybe 4 hours of run time on that thing since I bought it. And I've done a lot of stuff, tried to fix it myself, but I've reached that point. So I am hoping they'll get out here in the next couple days to look at it and try to fix it, because I'm just throwing my hands up with it. I want a technician to come out and just freaking fix the thing. I'm over it. So that's about it for today, guys. I don't have a whole lot else. My cousin and I are actually going to meet here, and well, later tonight we'll probably crack open a little bottle of bourbon and we'll record our podcast. If you have not checked it out, I encourage you to check it out. I've mentioned my show Living Fully Loaded, but my cousin and I do Talk Dirt to Me. My cousin is Bobby Lee over at Hurricane Creek Farms. You need to check out his YouTube channel if you don't already. But Talk Dirt to Me, it's a very unedited, unfiltered ag podcast. Now, the language can get a little stout because we do not hold back. I try to keep this channel relatively family friendly because I know a lot of kids like to watch farming videos, so I keep them pretty clean. I think they're all clean, but the podcast, the language can get tough sometimes, so I will throw that warning in there. But if you want unedited, real outlooks and discussions around ag, highly encourage you to check out Talk Dirt to Me. It's also on YouTube. The link for it will be in the description below. But guys, please go check that out, and check out my rooster that's just, he has figured out a way to escape. That's Buzzard. Buzzard? What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing, Buzzard? Don't you be flapping at me. Buzzard. I don't even know how Buzzard got out. He's actually I've never seen him get out. The little white chicken that just appeared right there behind me, that one gets out all the time. You can see this thing is just kind of I just had to throw together a fence here. But I've never had old Buzzard get out. I don't know that he can get back in. He's kind of an idiot. The other chicken is like, it's like a Houdini. Buzzard, talk to the camera. What do you think about that, Buzzard? You ever seen how a chicken does its head? Look, its head just stays in the same spot, moves its body. Is that not the weirdest thing? Chickens are, they're weird animals. All right, I'm gonna put Buzzard up before he has a panic attack. And guys, thank you for tuning into the video. Please hit that like button, hit subscribe, and hit the little bell notification to let you know when I upload. Hope you guys have a good one.